Hello, everyone. My name is Bryan Quick, and I get to work with our early career talent here at Abbott. Let me just start off with a little call to action to our panel. We need to seize this moment, and here's why. Right now, there are millions of young people around the world who can make an incredible impact on our STEM future. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics data show we'll need an additional 800,000 STEM workers by the year 2029. That represents somewhere around the population of Seattle. It's a number that Abbott, as a global health technology company, is motivated to address, but that's just part of the problem. Studies vary, but largely find that sometime after middle school, between the ages of 13 and 17, students' interest in STEM starts to fade. That's in both boys and girls, but especially girls. So today you're going to hear from myself and our other three panelists about how Abbott is providing STEM education, mentor programs, and opportunities for students, including girls and those from diverse backgrounds, with opportunities to learn as they're young so that they have more probability of success later on. So Beth Meyer works at Discovery Education. That group provides engaging activities and curriculum for our Future Well Kids program. They educate and inspire middle school students between the ages of 10 and 13 in underserved areas, and they learn the causes of chronic disease, and it empowers them to adopt healthy habits that can help them live healthier and longer lives. We're also going to hear from Mollie Schaefer. Mollie is a principal at Thomas Jefferson Middle School in Waukegan. Now, Waukegan is just north of Abbott's headquarters. Her students actually participate in our Future Well Kids program. And then finally, myself and one of our curious interns, a high school student, Fiona Harley, will speak about Abbott's internship and professional development programs.
Hello, everyone. That's me. I'm the curious one.
Thanks, Fiona. So first, let's start with our middle school students. Our Abbott employee volunteers are the ones that power Future Well Kids. They bring their STEM expertise to almost 50 classrooms and over 150 visits. And those numbers are going to continue to rise and expand as we go to over 160 countries where Abbott has a presence. If you're familiar with middle school students, you know that those students can be a tough crowd to engage. So we've partnered with Discovery Education to develop curriculum that our employee volunteers can learn to teach. So Beth, why don't we start with you? Can you tell us your thoughts about the importance of STEM education and what really makes Future Well Kids different than other corporate STEM programs?
Sure. Thanks so much, Bryan, and happy International Women's Day to everybody. So the good news is the number of STEM jobs are growing, outpacing all other U.S. job sectors with a median wage that's nearly $50,000 more than non-STEM jobs. But while the number of STEM jobs have grown, women make up only 28% of the science and engineering workforce. So at Discovery Education, we're committed to nurturing a diverse culture of STEM education in K through 12 schools. We know that girls who engage in STEM activities are nearly twice as likely to want to have a job in STEM. And helping girls stay curious about STEM and encouraging them to become young women working in STEM doesn't only change our world, it changes theirs too. And that's why our partnership with Abbott is so important in connecting girls to the possibilities that STEM can provide. So Bryan, as you mentioned, Future Well Kids is really unique because it combines health and wellness and STEM into one program. So students can learn about the science of their body as well as the importance of developing healthy habits. And many programs do a great job of tackling these topics separately, but the way Abbott has combined and paired them with expertise in specific areas like diabetes and nutrition and the cardiovascular system is a really great approach. And then from an educator standpoint, allows for integration across multiple subject areas, which we know is key. With Abbott, we have a common goal in fostering and promoting quality education and building the next generation of those STEM solution seekers, specifically with an intentional focus on racial and gender equity. So as we're thinking about how to move our work forward, I read something today that was a little bit disappointing, but also gives us a great opportunity moving forward. And that is, according to Yale Scientific and the National Science Foundation, 49.2% of women who originally intend to major in science and engineering as a first-year student switch to a non-STEM major. So as we look to work with Abbott and our partners in K-12 education, we want to turn that initial curiosity into commitment so we can collectively continue to lift our girls up.
Beth, those are some amazing statistics, and you're absolutely right. You know, Future Well Kids has impacted more than 100 students at Mollie's school. Mollie, I understand you're a principal at one of our Future Well Kids schools. Can you tell me a little bit about the experience you've had with the program, and how are the kids responding? Mollie, I think you're on mute there.
Jefferson has been working with Future Well Kids since 2019, and we really enjoyed that connection with Future Well. We were one of the first schools. We're right by Abbott Park, and it's great to see the scientists come into the schools 3 or 4 or 5 times this year so far. Even virtually, they've been coming in during the pandemic. The lessons are wonderful. The kids really enjoy them. It's great for them to learn about their own health and wellness. They're just learning now how to make healthy decisions. And, I can tell them they need to sleep or eat healthy, and their parents can too, but it's a whole different thing when a scientist comes and tells them how that affects their body and what are the pluses and minuses of that. So we really enjoy having them in. And the other great thing here in Waukegan, we're a Title I school, and so many of our students don't have the exposure to the larger world that, we hope middle school kids have. And it's great for them to interact with scientists and a very diverse group of scientists as well. The first group of Future Well scientists to come in and volunteers contained a Jefferson alumni. And it was so great for our girls, especially, to see an African-American who grew up in their neighborhood and went to their school is now an actual scientist with Abbott Labs, and that's a big name in our neck of the woods. And what a positive role model she was, and what a great interaction that was. So we really appreciate all the volunteers coming in, and to anyone watching who's a volunteer in a school, schools need you. You're a great role model for them, and thank you all very much for the work you do.
Awesome. That's such a great story, Mollie. And thank you for so much for all the things that you're doing, especially in these really tough times during the pandemic. So we've covered our middle school students. Now, next up are high schoolers. And we previously mentioned that they have their own challenges to stay connected and engaged with STEM. So our goal here at Abbott is to really bridge the gap. That's why at Abbott in 2012, we created our own high school STEM internship program. We partner with specific schools that have student populations with racial, ethnic, and income diversity. Last year, Abbott's internship program for the high school program was more than 70% diverse. After high school, our college internship program offers students around the world an opportunity to have real meaningful project assignments in STEM, and that includes engineering, manufacturing, IT, as well as R&D. A large percentage of our high school students will actually be accepted into this program too as well. Now, here's where that and beyond from the description in our panel comes in play. After students successfully complete our college program, we work to place them in full-time positions within our professional development program here at Abbott. Mollie highlighted a little bit of that earlier. So if you think about the continuum, we'll have touched students' lives in STEM from middle school to high school to college to when they start to begin their careers full-time. And STEM needs data. Here are the statistics that show that what we're doing right now is actually making a difference. We've impacted over 1,000 students so far with our Future Well Kids program. We've also had over 150 students go through our high school program. We keep in touch with those students and track their progress too as well. And 97% of those students go into studying STEM in college. And that's incredible. The high school program's actually been around long enough that we've started to be able to hire some of our former interns from that program into full-time engineer and scientist roles. Of the 15 that we've actually hired, 11 of them are young women, and that's an important part. So we have one of our high school students here with us today, Fiona Harley. Fiona, can you talk a little bit about what interning at Abbott will mean for you and your career?
as I've said in my introduction, I was always such a curious kid. And so with Abbott and with my work with Abbott, I was really able to delve into my curiosity and really just chase my passion and just solidify that idea. So I was always taught by my parents that whenever you know your why and whenever you know your purpose and why you are doing what you're doing, that's when you're really going to be able to pursue your passion and do your best work. And so I took that and I ran with it. So I always knew that I just wanted to help people. And I found that the STEM field in general has been my best opportunity too. And I'm just very fortunate to have the opportunity with Abbott to do so. And now that I'm reflecting back on it a little bit, I think this interest really peaked when I was about 4 years old. I know it might sound a little bit weird. Maybe kids' memories haven't developed that much, but it really did happen when I was 4. So when I was 4, my dad was in the hospital and he had brain surgery. So as a kid, I was a 4-year-old kid just sitting there in the waiting room. And as a 4-year-old, if you think middle schoolers are hard to entertain, 4-year-olds, much, much worse. And the doctors knew this. And I really appreciated the fact now that they came up to me and they were like, hey, do you want to try on a pair of scrubs? Do you want to put on a stethoscope? And they got me so interested in just being a part of it. And I really felt a part of the team there. And I just went around and I listened to everyone's heartbeats and something about like the boom, like the very methodical boom in everyone's chest. It just drew me in right away. And now that I look back on it, I realize, oh, I think that was the part right there. The part where, because I've always been very sound oriented, whether it's me Irish dancing or me playing the classical piano, making those beautiful melodies. But now it was just the sound of the heart where I just was fascinated instantly like that. And it was just an immediate connection for me. And then also, with Abbott, during my internship, I was able to do things that I never even thought possible. And all of the work that I did, it was very much necessary. And again, when I was 4, feeling part of the doctor's team, I really felt a part of this team. And that was such a nice experience to have, especially as a 16-year-old woman just going into my first professional position. It was really nice to be able to establish connections with people. And then as now I'm going into college, it's scary to think of because 4 years old seemed like 2 days ago. But now going into college, majors have always been on my mind recently. And so at Abbott, I was able to meet so many different people. Some people majored in nuclear physics, and some people majored chemistry. Some people did biomedical engineering. And really all my work with Abbott, it really helped me solidify the idea that I wanted to go in on a STEM major. And eventually, I decided to go in under biology to some colleges, and then I also applied to a few biomedical engineering programs. And so I really have Abbott to thank to really solidify the idea that I do want to continue my career in STEM if possible. And I guess I was very fortunate to have teachers that really pushed me. And they noticed my potential right away. They noticed my spark of interest in the science, in the maths. And they really encouraged me to keep participating in it and keep really pursuing it. And so I guess my 3 main takeaways from this is to if I know there's a lot of women, a lot of girls, a lot of boys my age even, that are falling off of the STEM track and they're majoring in other areas. But I'd say your main thing to keep in mind is to keep the curiosity alive. Because really, once you find what you're curious about, that's where your passion can develop, and also find your personal connection. Because when my dad was in the hospital, I realized myself, I would love to have an impact on millions of people if possible. And if I could do that just by one person at a time, even, then I'd be satisfied with my life and with being on this earth. And then also have people as I've said before, as my parents taught me, very, very smart people, not very STEM oriented, but they still allowed me to follow my passion, which I really appreciate. But my parents taught me the most important lesson I've ever learned, and that's to really follow your why. Why am I doing this? Why am I in the field that I want to be in? And of course, just believe in yourself. So I think that just all of that in essence led me to where I am right now on my STEM journey.
Wow, what a great story, Fiona. So I got to ask you a question. What is your why?
So my why would be, as I've said before, just following the sounds of the body. I've always been super sound oriented. And so by following the sounds of the body and continuing on my path of STEM, and keeping people healthy and, bettering their lives and bettering each day for them, and impacting, as I've said before, the lives of millions of people. I really think that's my purpose, and that's my why. That's what I want to do when I'm, pursuing my STEM career.
Fiona, your passion is contagious, I think, for everybody. So thank you for sharing your story with us, and it's been awesome having you on the panel. I want to thank everybody on the panel. Also thank everybody for watching today. If you have any questions or would like to reach out, Chamber Foundation organizers have our contact information, and we're happy to always share and discuss our program with you. Have a great afternoon, everyone.